Hey everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope y'all guys are doing amazing as always, and it's me Joe as always. And do you guys remember when in 2000s almost all of horror got remade? Now obviously I don't remember because I was a child. I was born in 2001, so obviously I don't remember this era. However, I am a big fan of horror movies, and I rewatched a lot of movies from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and stuff like that. So, in the 2000s, we got a lot of remakes and reimaginations of stuff from the 1980s, right? We got Halloween, we got The Hills Have Eyes, we got the Friday the 13th, we got the 13 Ghosts, we got The Fog, we got The Ring, we got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we got April Fool's Day, we got Sorority Row, we got a lot of remakes of horror movies from the 1980s. And the good thing is that most of these movies were actually pretty good and they were pretty decent, which is rare because, you know, in the 2010s and now in the 2020s, we're getting a lot of horror remakes also, but most of them are actually, you know, bad. The Black Christmas remake from 2019, that movie was pretty bad. We also got the Poltergeist remake from 2015. That movie was also pretty awful. So we got a lot of awful horror movies, when it comes to remakes especially. So it's kind of awesome that in the 2000s we got a lot of horror remakes that are actually good. Especially movies like, especially, I think, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm a big fan of that 2003 remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think the changes they did are actually pretty decent. They sort of, did some things a little differently, and I think it worked out quite well for him. And I'm a big fan, again, of that 2003 remake. I like the way Leatherface is portrayed. He's like big, bulky, and he's pretty awesome. The action is amazing. The tensity overall is like pretty awesome throughout the movie. It's pretty great actually. And the characters are also really good. I'm a big fan of the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and they obviously did a prequel to that called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the Beginning. That movie got released in 2006, I think, and I think it's awesome. I'm a big fan of that prequel, and I think together these two movies are pretty awesome, and I'm a big fan. Also, I really enjoyed the 2009's Friday the 13th remake, and I know that's sort of controversial in a way because I know a lot of people don't appreciate and don't like that movie, which is completely fine, I get it, but what I really do like is how structured the 2009's Friday the 13th movie is. Basically, in the first 5 minutes, you get a remake of the original Friday the 13th with Pamela Voorhees in it. Then in the next 20 minutes, you basically get Friday the 13th Part 2 with Seghead Jason. And then the rest of the movie is pretty much Jason as you know him with the hockey mask on. And it all just works so well. It's also pretty brutal, and it's awesome, and it's exciting. So I really do like the 2009's Friday the 13th remake. I think it's pretty decent. And again, I really do like Jason. Obviously, when it comes to other stuff, I really enjoyed The Ring from 2002, which is obviously a remake of the original Japanese Ringu horror movie. So yeah, I also really love The Hills Have Eyes remake from 2007, I think, and its sequel, Hills Have Eyes 2. I really enjoyed those movies, especially the first one. It's brutal, it's disgusting. The mutants are just so cool to look at, and they are obviously also pretty disgusting. So I'm a big fan of that Hills Have Eyes remake, and I think it's actually better than the original. And for example, I think the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is almost as good as the original, which, again, it's almost weird to say, but I really feel that way because I think they made an amazing movie, in my opinion. So it's kind of awesome that the 2000s, brought us some amazing remakes and reimaginations of stuff from the 80s, especially now when, and in the 2010s, we were getting a lot of just bad remakes, and we're still getting some bad remakes, and every once in a while. And just to think that in the 2000s, it was probably like this special window where we actually got some pretty decent remakes and reimaginations of stuff, and that's great. I dig it. I also like, the only thing that I don't enjoy when it comes to the 2000s remakes, I really don't like the Halloween remake by Rob Zombie. Like, on its own, it's a perfectly fine movie, and the sequel is even more Rob Zombie. And again, on its own, a perfectly fine movie. However, when it comes to the Halloween lore, I'm obviously a big fan of the Halloween franchise. I do have this guy right here. This is the Halloween Ends mask. Look at it. Look at Michael right here. Look at this guy. So I'm a big fan of the Halloween franchise, and yeah, I think that Rob Zombie just, didn't understand it really. But again, the movies on its own, they are good. Both the first one and then Halloween 2. Now, another movie or another remake that I sort of don't like from this era was the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. And that's just for one reason. I think the movie itself is actually pretty decent. However, what I really don't like about the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street is the fact that Freddy in this version is essentially a PDF file. He's pretty much into kids. Which, in the original not Friday the 13th, in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, was basically just a child killer, a child murderer, but he never was a PDF file, So it's sort of like, just this one fact just makes him so... I mean, it's obviously bad to kill kids. Don't get me wrong, that's awful, right? That's bad. Nobody should do that. But, I was sort of okay with it with Freddy Krueger just because he's such a cool character, But when it comes to also having another or doing another stuff with kids, I'm not a big fan of that. And especially just the fact that they made him a PDF file in the new one, in the remake. I don't know, I just wasn't vibing with that at all. But otherwise, I enjoyed the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. But yeah, other than that, I enjoyed a lot of stuff from, the 2000s when it comes to remakes, and I think a lot of them are even better. Like The Last House on the Left, I think that movie is definitely better than the it was like late 70s movie, right? The original one. So yeah, the 2000s, they brought us some really good stuff in terms of horror remakes, and, especially I think the Friday the 13th one, and also the Texas Chainsaw Massacre ones, they are also pretty good. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Let me know your favorite 2000s horror movies, like a remake that you really enjoy watching. I want to know. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, as always. I'll see you next time, as always. Until next time, bye.